So we did it. We got the Unreal Engine plugin working. We have the DualSense controller working in Unreal Engine, my friends. This one. This really good quality controller that has quite possibly the worst analog sticks in the world. But I got it bloody working. It fully communicates with the engine, in-game and in the editor. We even have our own full diagnostic suite for the controller. All coded by me, yours truly. You know, just because I can. Just because I know what I'm doing. But let me show you instead of words, right? Because words can mean anything. But let's have a look at exactly how this controller works. So let me shrink down the screen a bit. Okay, so let me debug and open up our completely top of the line customized diagnostic suite for the PlayStation controller. Turn it on. Connects. We can switch between modes and menus. Let's stick a nice pulse on. Police strobes. Fades. That's a quite nice one. I don't think you can see it that well, but it is actually pulsing. Pretty good. Pretty goddamn good. So what we can do is we can change the pulse speed. So now you can see it pulsing. Complete control of the LEDs. You can turn them on, control them, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So stick to a static color for now. You can change the colors real time. Nothing crashes, everything works as it's supposed to work. The whole application, as you can see in the bottom right corner, is running at like 60 frames per second. DualSense touch controls, multi-touch, everything works. If we do L1 and X, we can play our own game of Pong on just the controller, which is pretty cool. It's got a game built in that you can play. You can turn it off by pressing the start button. Haptics, everything is working in the haptic system. So if I just move my mush over there, if we press down on the triggers, we get a real-time graph of what's happening with the triggers, even frequency levels, which I think is really good because it measures exactly the pressure sensitivity. So for like games where pressure sensitivity is key, or key input factor, you can create algorithms and stuff and clever metrics and systems that uses certain levels of gentle push or taps for a certain game mechanic, opens up the level of game mechanics exclusively for the DualSense controller. So you could build a game that is exclusively for this controller, which I think is marvelous. You know, the Xbox controller does not have this level of input. It just has simple basic X input triggers, and they're not really that great, to be fair. Gyroscope controls, so real-time flight control systems. So you can move at the moment. This only controls that, but if you are in the right angle, You can even control third-person shooters with the controller. This opens up the doors for motion capture as well, just using the controller as a motion capture device. So say if you've got two of them, one for each hand, you can simulate hand movements, arm movements, positions where things should be, etc., using the metrics and the data that's available. We even have a nice graph at the bottom that shows us basically roll, pitch, yaw, and energy consumption. How much energy is being used to generate it. So you can go up and down, and as you can see, it gives a certain profile of certain actions. So say like if you're going left to right, it gives us a baseline graph. If you're going to throw something, it'll generate the correct kind of graphical data that's needed to interpret that data as an animation, which I think is really, really, really fucking powerful. It opens up some next level kind of ingenuity for Unreal Engine. Now this is just a diagnostic suite. This isn't even in the engine yet, right? So obviously let's disconnect the controller and we'll move to the engine. This is going to need a little bit more polishing for the user interface titles and stuff like that, but it's in its final stages. So if we now move, excuse me, to the engine, we'll open up the engine and I'll demonstrate it working in the engine. Excuse me. Do apologise. It's hard work being a nerd. Okay. So turn the controller on. DualSense connected via Bluetooth. The engine knows whether you're connecting via Bluetooth or via USB, which I think is a really, really nice touch. So let's turn the controller off. It's disconnected. It knows it's disconnected. We'll plug in the USB cable and you'll get a notification on screen saying DualSense connected via USB. We'll disconnect and it knows it's been disconnected without issue. That one was a really big one because we wanted to have notification of what we're doing, and we wanted to make sure it was able to give some feedback to the user that the controller was connected, both on the controller and on screen. So we'll just connect back up. Sometimes, because there isn't a proprietary driver on Windows, it'll take a few seconds to reconnect on Bluetooth, which I have noticed to be a problem because there isn't a native driver, unless you get that from Sony, which is a problem. But hopefully I can come out with a workaround to create a driver for it. Now, as you can see, it's taken quite a while, but sometimes it just you have to reset it and then it'll reconnect. So that's a bug, but that's because of the Bluetooth adapters and stuff like that. So it's not necessarily the controller, but the lack of the driver on the Windows input interface layer is what causes that. So let's launch the game. As you can see, it switches. So let's put that to the camera. So you can see you're in 2 bars, which tells you you're in the editor mode with the controller. Launch the game. You are now in single player mode with the controller. If we turn the controller, you can control the camera. You can now run around and use the controller just like any other input device. There is going to be quite a lot of stuff programmed into Unreal Engine. I'm trying to explain it without boring people and boring myself at the same time, but this is the key part, is it works in the engine, and we have finally got to that stage where we can use a wireless controller in Unreal Engine, which I think is fantastic. We don't fully have availability to determine the battery level yet, but that's going to be something that we're going to work on later down the line. But other than that, I think it's pretty damn good that you're able now to use this controller in Unreal Engine, and you can see it working real time. And it uses the default IMC. I am going to be creating some IMC profiles, but if we take a look at the third person game mode, third person player controller. So what we've done is we've just attached it onto the same player controller, third person, and it uses the IMC default mapping. And if we have a look at that, IMC default, we open that up. As you can see, we have IA jump, move, look, interact, and torch. So what we have here is, oh, that's the wrong one. That's from another thing to this one. So here you can see we have, if I zoom it in for you guys, so here we have where we can actually press a button on the controller, because this is actually properly configured. So if we, for IA jump, so if you want to, say, use the touchpad button to jump, you can do that. You can save that, go back here, and if you click on the game, you can now use the touchpad button to jump, no longer use the X. So there is the ability to map actions to the controller as well. So I'm just going to put that back to X. I think with the amount of work that I've done on it so far, I think it's pretty good. I just thought I wanted to share that progress with anybody who likes to make games and is interested in this project and has been interested and waiting for this next update for the project. And I'm so grateful to share it with you all. So if you've enjoyed it, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you think. I'd be grateful to hear your thoughts about this project so far, and thanks for watching.